another incredibly fascist move, Donald Trump is now trying to require American universities to pledge a loyalty oath to Trump's conservative MAGA ideals or lose billions of dollars in federal funding. Specifically, Trump has asked 10 universities to start with to basically pledge that they will ban anything that belittles conservative ideas. That means a professor in class talking about the Trump tax cuts cannot criticize the tax cuts, or he is breaking the law, breaking this covenant, will lose billions of dollars. Notice that Trump's little communist oil loyalty oath thing doesn't say anything about liberal ideas. It's not political ideas, right? It's not free speech. It literally is signing a document at the threat of losing billions of dollars from the federal government, promising that your university will advance a MAGA political agenda or else. This is, I say fascist and communist because I've lived through the history of both. It's all the same in this case. It is an authoritarian government telling you how to think, telling you what to do, or telling you that the strong arm of government will come down and crush you. This is not America. It wasn't, but it is under Donald Trump, and it is fascist as hell. Again, it's also communist too, because they did the same thing.
I understand why MAGA Republicans resent federal workers. Federal workers are highly educated Americans who until recently had secure jobs doing what they loved in exchange for a middle-class life and retirement. They were living the American dream we were all promised as kids. Go to school, work hard, and have the American dream. But for millions of Americans, that dream never came true, leaving them bitter and looking for someone to blame. So who's to blame? Just look at this chart here for a second. This is the balance of power of Congress over time. After the Great Depression from 1934 to 1996, the entire time Trump claims America was great the first time, Democrats controlled the House for 58 out of the 62 years, and the Senate for 52 out of those 62 years. And they used those decades of power and control to build labor unions, to guarantee good pay and benefits, to protect your rights as a worker, and to guarantee a safe workplace. The work Democrats did over those 60 years is the definition of the American dream we have today. And we did it all with a significantly lower economic output, because the wealth created from that economic output was taxed fairly. But Republican billionaires fought it the entire time. And after 60 years of losing, they knew they needed a new war, which is why in the 70s they created the Heritage Foundation, which then propped up an actor named Ronald Reagan. And they gave him a policy playbook called the Mandate for Leadership, which was basically the 1980 version of Project 2025. And Reagan immediately went to work for them with the trickle-down Reaganomics bullshit that destroyed the middle class and exploded the national debt, with the demonization of the federal workforce, and with new culture wars rooted in class, race, gender, orientation, and religion. And they paired this all with a war on information because they knew none of this bullshit would stick to a well-informed electorate. So they came after history books, universities, and news outlets. And they did all of this for one very simple reason. It's cheaper to feed you misinformation than it is to feed you and your family. Now, after 40 years, millions of hungry, misinformed citizens look at immigrants, homeless veterans, and federal employees as if they're the enemy, all while Republican leaders and their billionaire donors live out their distorted version of the American dream, paid for with the wealth generated by the American working class.
We are reaching a boiling point. Homeland Security and ICE is going to encounter a crowd at some point in the near future, and they are going to against that crowd. And I think Stephen Miller knows that. I don't know about Trump, but I know Stephen Miller knows. Which is convenient because that's exactly the kind of incident that they would need in order to suspend habeas corpus. Stephen Miller knows there's only one outcome to sending squads of masked men in full combat gear and long guns and unmarked vehicles into the streets of liberal cities. We all know a lot of these agents are actually just untrained, unidentified, deputized militiamen types. They have no training in crowd control or conflict resolution, and they all have a power kink. They're eager to inflict some sort of abuse of power on a crowd of folks. It's a situation that almost seems manufactured for conflict, manufactured to fail. I'm sorry, but when we see masked men with long guns and full combat gear on the streets of Minneapolis shoving citizens like they're trying to instigate a bar fight, I know that it's only a matter of time before something really, really bad happens.
Here's a list of things conservatives and MAGA should no longer be able to do. Feel free to chime in. No more eating at Mexican restaurants. You don't get to deport the cooks and still order the tacos. No more taking Ubers or taxis. Most of those drivers are the immigrants you voted against. No more using public schools. You slashed the funding for them, so enjoy Patriot schooling in your garage. And no more Disney World. You cried about them being too woke, so it's just county fair Ferris wheels for you. And no more using Medicaid or collecting Social Security or welfare. You keep voting to gut it or cut it, so give it back. No more abortions, no Plan B, and no birth control. You're just gonna have to let God decide. And no more traveling to countries where immigrants were deported back to. No more blue state airports either. You can catch your flights from the county airstrip. And no more hurricane or wildfire rescues by the Guard. You wanted federal cuts? Fine. You go buy a hose and a canoe. And no more applying for disaster relief, especially when it's paid for by blue state taxes that you love to trash. And no more complaining about prices. Those tariffs you cheered on cause Walmart to price their items like they're fucking Nordstrom. And no more sending kids to woke universities, which is pretty much every university, since knowledge teaches critical thinking, your kryptonite. And the only freedom you do still have is pretending like it's all someone else's fault. And if you want to follow me on any of the other platforms, all my links are in the bio. Remember, I'm not the dark left. Together, we're the dark left. Please join me in helping to call out the bullshit and bring some sanity back to the conversation.
Screw the Republican Party. I've been a Republican since I was 18 years old. I'm 62 now, and I'm embarrassed to say I've stuck it out this long. The last 10 years have been enough of this crap. Support me. Hit all those buttons on the right-hand side of your screen. Follow me. Leave me a comment. Repost this. Every Republican that I know right now, I'm trying to get flipped over to the Democratic Party. Join me in this effort, please. It's the only way we're going to get these idiots out of office.
How has your life improved since Donald Trump has gotten to office? I'm asking MAGA. I'm asking the far right. I'm asking conservatives. I'm asking white Christian nationalists. How has your life improved? What policies, and please don't mention the border. Please don't mention the border. What policies has this man put in place that has improved your life personally? That is the question I have to ask. And then once you answer that question, I want you to answer this question. How has Donald Trump attacked the less than 1% of transgender people in this country? How has that personally affected your life? How has it made your life better? And then I want you to answer this question. How has Donald Trump attacking immigrants in this country improved your life? What has improved in your life, your personal life, inside of your house? Has it changed your bills? Has it increased your pay? Has your health care improved? Has your retirement plan improved? Are you getting things built in your city better? Is food cheaper? Is gas cheaper? These are the questions I really want y'all to answer. Because if nothing has gotten better, why did you vote for him? Take the time. Answer the question.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony. Thank you for watching, and let's continue watching this video. It's not yet over, so I'm not disrupting your watch. I just popped up to say thank you for watching my videos. You are amazing and you mean a lot to me. So let's continue watching and make our conclusions at the end of the video.
I have to make this video basically coming out of work because this is one of the most terrible things I have ever seen in 20 years of being an attorney. I'm turning 50 next month. My father was an attorney. And this is without question one of the most blatant violations of the law, the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment of the United States that protects everyone, all of the citizens of the United States, from illegal searches, unreasonable searches as that. The Supreme Court of the United States, 6-3, in a shadow docket, no one knows what the fuck was their rationale, decided in the case of Noem versus Vasquez Perdomo, a huge important injunction that prohibited ICE agents to profile and engage with Latinos based solely on how they look, what language they spoke, what type of job they were holding in the United States. Because it's illegal. You can't fucking profile people just on that alone. And our highest court, the sole interpreter of all of the laws in the United States, right, just decided that they can, in fact, profile Latinos in the United States. And this racist and compromised Supreme Court for Trump decided that profiling people for their ethnicity is a relevant factor. All legal scholars, all lawyers on TikTok are blown away by this decision. This has been spoken to in law schools in the United States. It's been discussed by the Civil Liberties Union, by the American Bar Association. This is the craziest thing we've ever seen. It's unexplained. And now, for all of you Latinos for Trump that voted for this bullshit, you signed your own death fucking warrant. You brought us to the slaughters. And all of you Latinos for Trump will be considered as traitors to your own people forever and ever. This is horrific. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And I don't know how the fuck we are going to get this back. But this is what happens. You give a little bit of freedom to get a sense of security, and you deserve neither. Que tengan buen día. I'll keep you posted for more. Like and follow.
So for my family, and I'm done starving.
There is no Republican Party. There is only the MAGA Party now. And I think it's important to address how we got here. This is the only Republican Party we have ever known. Ronald Reagan, George H. Bush, George H.W. Bush, they may have been more articulate, but their policies were just as damaging. They rippled through generations and time and destroyed generations of Black and brown folks in this country and poor white people. I don't think the Republicans have values anymore. Their values seem to be whatever Donald Trump's values are. And he recognized that he could tap into a base by saying, hey, you're losing because they're winning. And they look like you and me. And I'm here to tell y'all, we ain't winning. We are still very much in a battle, fighting battles our grandparents fought.
Fascism is not just some ghost of Europe's past. It's a recurring skin disease on the flesh of civilization. You can wax it, shame it, bury it in tribunals and teach it in textbooks. But give it a few years and a few million angry people with high-speed internet and it will crawl back, wearing a new suit and a patriotic smile. And here in America it's found a tailor. Let's not soft-pedal this with vague warnings, let's name it. Fascism is not a feeling. Fascism is not a man yelling mean things on television. It is not just racism with a bullhorn. Fascism is a political operating system with 5 core ingredients: authoritarian control, cult of personality, corporate collusion, scapegoating of the other, and mythic national rebirth achieved through violence or suppression. That's it. That's the definition. And Mussolini, our fascist beta tester, rose to power on the promise of order. He crushed unions, outlawed dissent, turned the press into a cheering squad, and merged the state with business to ensure that, mythically speaking, the trains ran on time. He wore military garb, demanded loyalty, and turned Italy into a paranoid circus where speaking your mind could get you shot, or worse, made to teach Latin in rural schools. Hitler upgraded the model. He took Mussolini's formula and injected it with meth, racial purity, industrial-scale propaganda, and genocide. Hitler didn't start with Auschwitz. He started with slogans, with book bans, with street thugs normalized by media silence. He rose to power legally, then erased legality. He blamed Germany's problems on Jews, communists, the disabled, homosexuals, anyone outside his holy vision of Volk. He unleashed the SS, banned opposition parties, burned art, rewrote the news, and built a machine of death so thorough it broke the soul of Europe. And lest you think fascism always comes in a costume, Franco's Spain offered a quieter version, a crucifix in one hand and a revolver in the other. He didn't need spectacle. He just disappeared his enemies, banned their languages, censored their memories, and ran a 40-year marathon of clerical tyranny that made fascism feel polite. Now look at America. But look carefully. Donald Trump did not stumble into politics. He was summoned by the ghosts of Goldwater and Wallace, by the long arc of Nixonian rot, by decades of anti-intellectualism marinated in jingoism. He didn't invent fascism. He merchandised it. He turned it into a goddamn hat. And side by side, Mussolini criminalized unions. Trump gutted labor protections and filled the National Labor Relations Board with corporate lapdogs. Hitler blamed the nation's decline on Jews and cultural Bolsheviks. Trump blames immigrants, Muslims, journalists, LGBTQ+ people, and globalists. Mussolini staged violent street theater. Trump encouraged Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. He called them very fine people and told them to stand by. Hitler used a failed coup, the beer hall putsch, to gain notoriety. Trump used January 6th to build a martyrdom complex and run again. Franco rewrote textbooks. Republican legislatures across America are banning books, whitewashing slavery, and rewriting civil rights history in real time. Mussolini declared himself the only source of truth. Trump screams fake news at every headline he doesn't like and tried to create a state-run media outlet. And just like the fascists of old, Trump does not promise policy. He promises revenge. Not reform, but retribution. Not governance, but the glorious restoration of a mythical past that never existed. A past where dissent didn't make the news and everyone knew their place. We are not in a fascist dictatorship. Not yet. But fascism doesn't arrive overnight. It comes in like climate change, gradual, undeniable, and denied until it's too goddamn late. We already have a judiciary stacked with ideologues loyal to a man, not the Constitution. A political party openly rejecting election results. Book bans, drag bans, abortion bans, everything but gun bans. A culture of retribution that punishes whistleblowers, journalists, and critics. A state-backed effort to criminalize protest. Militias deputized in all but name. Fascism in America doesn't need uniforms, it has algorithms. It has talking heads. It has the Supreme Court. It has men with high school diplomas and AR-15s who think they're defending the Republic while they're actually destroying it. And it has enough people who believe they are saving something holy by silencing, surveilling, or stomping out anything unfamiliar. No, not every Trump voter is a fascist. But fascism is not a club you join. It's a disease you enable. It feeds on fear, on loyalty, on grievance, on comfort. It asks you to trade your conscience for protection and your voice for identity. It promises that if you shut up and get in line, you'll be safe, that only they will suffer. But that is the lie. That's always been the lie. We are not looking into the abyss. We are dangling over the edge of it, and the wind is picking up. So yes, this is fascism. Maybe not the fully ripened fruit, but the vine is healthy, the soil is fertilized, and the sun is shining. And unless we rip out the roots now, we will live to see the harvest. So name it, and fight it, or wait and watch it win. Defiance till death.
Will we recover from this? Will we recover? Because as I usually say, everything that has a beginning must have an end. And thank you for reaching the end of this video. It's amazing having you here. So let's discuss. Has your life gotten any better after Trump came to power? Has it? Has it? Tell me in the comment section, has your life gotten any better after Trump came to power? Because his policies, generally, from my perspective, have done no better to improve our livelihoods. What Trump is doing at the moment is doing many bad things at the same time so that we forget track of what is going on, so that we can lose focus or lose the narrative of the bad things that are happening in our country. And there is this No Kings protest which is happening in October 18th. And one thing I don't agree with them is the fact that they are protesting that Trump should not be king. We don't have kings in America. The real issue that is affecting us, and most people don't want to talk about it, is the cost of living. The cost of living. People have no jobs. The Gen Zs are living with their parents. They can't, if they have jobs, they can't afford anything, you know. That's the real issues which are affecting our country at the moment. Everything. Prices are skyrocketing. That are the real issues that are affecting us. Corporate greed is eating into our salaries, is eating into our youth, is eating into our work. That's the real issues that are affecting our country at the moment. And if we really have leaders like Bernie Sanders who are genuinely campaigning on these issues, this country will be one of the greatest countries in the world. Nowadays, we no longer have engineers running Boeing. We do no longer have engineers running these major American companies. We have lawyers, we have lobbyists, we have name them running these companies, and what they know a lot is making profits. They don't know about how their policies really affect our lives as common citizens. They really don't know. They don't give a damn. So until we get leaders who are addressing the needs of us Americans, this country will be the greatest country maybe for the next millennia if God allows it. So what I usually say is that this country, we have allowed lobbyists to direct the policy of the government. We have regulators who are policing CEOs of these major companies instead of CEOs policing regulators. That's what's happening in our country. That's what's happening. Our members of Congress are policing lobbyists instead of this lobbyist policing our members of Congress, that these companies are doing everything right for the benefits or for the general benefits of United States citizens. We have these companies exploiting resources from our country, whereas these resources are not benefiting our citizens in general. We have AI centers in these poor neighborhoods, taking away millions of gallons of waters. We have these major farms in our neighborhoods, taking millions of gallons of waters. But the profits from these farms, from these AI, what do we call them? Server centers. Does this income benefit the population in these neighborhoods whereby these resources are being taken? Do these companies give back to the society where they take these resources from? Do they? Tell me in the comment section. Do they? So the real issue that we have is corporate greed, which has affected this country, and Trump is prone to them because we have these Project 2025 billionaires writing scripts for Donald Trump. So we have a problem in our country, and to address it must be a major issue in the midterms. So what I usually say is stay alert, stay focused, stay blue, see blue, listen blue, vote blue, and until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.